Hello, my name is Jakob Munck, and this is the time where I will make my response to the remarks that have been made to my English language videos. I do that one or two times a year, and now is the time because there are maybe 50 or 60 comments, so now it's the time to respond. And I take them in opposite order of the order they were made because I take them the way they are shown here on my YouTube page. And the first comment, it is about my video about Donald Trump, and it is made by Lucky the Dragon. Well, Lucky the Dragon, why don't you use your real name? Are you ashamed of your real name? I believe you are a student from Mexico studying or living here in Denmark. That's what I know about you. And you say, I don't agree with you in the part of multiculturalism. I dislike multiculturalism because it takes away the identity of cultures. Well, this is absolutely untrue. First of all, Denmark is based on multiculturalism. My own roots come from Southern Europe, from Switzerland, and from Norway. And every Dane you find out, if you go back in their ancestral tree, they have forefathers coming from other countries. We are not able to support ourselves in any way if we don't have blood from outside, talent, intelligence, workforce, and mothers to get new children. We need all of this from outside. It has been that way all the way through history and also today. The Danish Union of Employers, they are begging our government to have more people from outside coming to Denmark because we need the labor force. If every non-Dane living here in Denmark went home tomorrow, then Denmark would go absolutely broke in 1 week. We wouldn't have any money, nothing would work, and we wouldn't earn any money because our industry, our agriculture is run for a big part of workforce coming from other countries, from Asia, from Eastern Europe, from Poland, Romania, Italia, Africa, and so on and so forth. So multiculturalism, we need multiculturalism. If we went to be a very racist country, then it would be rather hard to get people from outside to come here. And we need these people. And you're absolutely wrong also when you write that it takes away the identity. The truth is absolutely the opposite. If you have a painting consisting of three colors, red, blue, and green, you can't say the red is taking away the green or the green is taking away the red. Look at the Danish flag. It's red and white. Do you think that the red color is taking away the white or the white color is taking away the red? Of course not. The red has only got any meaning because it is seen in contrast to another color. That is the way beauty and aesthetics is created. And the same way when it comes to cultures, the only reason why the different religions exist is because they have split out from each other and people wanted to make another version of the same old message of the relationship between God and human beings. The Catholic religion that I belong to, we are very proud that we can support ourselves also in multicultural states, for example, in Europe, in Italy, in Denmark, and everywhere. So if you are against multiculturalism, well, start by leaving Denmark because you don't belong to Denmark. You have another culture, another language, another religion. Probably you also look not like a Dane. So why don't you go home to Mexico to follow your own message? As long as you stay here and in Europe, you have to accept multiculturalism. This is the way Europe is run, and I'm very glad for that because multiculturalism is the future, and this is the way to underline the quality of every single culture: Christian culture, Buddhist culture, Islamic culture, and so on. But of course, criminals, we have criminals in every culture, in every religion, and we have to put them down. I'm very sad to say that in Denmark we have a much too tolerant justice system. You can do a lot of bad things and only get very small sentences. Actually, it's better to be in a Danish prison than to be a part of the labor force in many countries outside Europe. So we have a problem with justice, not only in Denmark, but in Europe, but not a problem of multiculturalism. We need much more multiculturalism. Well, let's continue to this Erik Storm here. I don't know why he's writing in Danish. Why this video? He say, it's not made because I want to help people. Well, how do you know, Erik Storm? Are you a mind reader or a psychologist? Well, you look like a fool. And I believe that you are a follower of Dansk Folkeparti, the racist party, being a strong political force for many years in the Danish parliament. These people are the closest we have to Adolf Hitler ideology, Nazism here in Denmark. They believe that Denmark we can manage everything only by ourselves. And that is the reason why we do not have any real economic growth for many years in Denmark, because we want to be separate. Of course, we are part of the European Union, but we do not have the euro and we are not totally integrated in the union. I hope that will change in the future. We are so lucky that Great Britain has left the union and hopefully they stay away. That means the union can grow stronger in the future, and that is what we need. Erik Storm, you're just stupid. You write here, I'm trying to strengthen my own minority feeling. I really don't know what that is. How should I strengthen my own minority feeling? It is very strong already, and I'm very proud to belong to a minority. But remember, we Catholic, we are majority in Europe. You are a minority. So maybe you better fuck off. Leave Europe. You do not belong here. There must be some country somewhere, probably Ukraine, where people like you are welcome. They have a lot of Nazis already over there. Or maybe Poland. It's somehow the same as Ukraine. Then you say I should move to Russia. Well, you obviously, I can see you don't know anything about Russia. Do you know how the Catholic religion is treated in Russia? Well, I'm afraid you're just as stupid as you look, Erik Storm. Please don't write anymore on my web pages. You take the level too low. Let's continue to some other remarks. Here we have some guy called Immortal Feud. Again, he's working under a cover name. Why don't you use your real name? You say, I'm an atheist and I hate Islam and Iraqi. Well, if you hate a religion, then you're stupid. You shouldn't hate a religion, but you can hate certain people being member of this religion. There are many criminals in Islam, but also criminals in Christianity and in other religions. Well, maybe atheism is the most criminal religion we have. If you see the big Holocaust, they are mostly committed by so-called atheists. And then you write you hate Iraqi. Well, to hate a whole nation, then you're just a racist. No more comments to that. Then we have a person, I suppose he's from Poland. Main question is, are you able to tell us what positive effect multicultural had on the Danish society? Yes, I certainly am. I've done it already, but I'll repeat very short. Denmark would not exist if we had not had multiculturalism for the last 1,000 years. All Danes have ancestors or partners coming from outside, and that is the way that we run our society. If the people coming from outside took home to get a one-way ticket from the Danish government and traveled within a week, then in 14 days Denmark would be ruined, because these people are running our whole economy. And everyone with any kind of knowledge of Danish economy, they know that we need more people from outside. And it's very good being a Catholic. I'm a minority here in Denmark, and I like minorities. I think quality is to have many minorities, just like in other countries. But of course, you need to have a strong police force, a strong state to keep the state together and take care of that criminality is kept down, because there's always a risk of criminality, no matter if you have one or more cultures. But it's impossible to have a mono culture in any country today, because of the internet, because of the global communication. So every country will be a multicultural country, and I'm very glad, because I think this is the most beautiful, the most effective, the most interesting, and I really like to communicate with other people. And I like the idea that people like me, Catholics, we have these people all over the world, including even in Poland, although they have their special version of Catholicism. Real Catholicism is still allowed even in Poland, and also in nearly any other country, and that is very good. Let's continue. Here, this one guy, he's from Poland. There are a lot of Poles commenting on my videos. Well, he's talking about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. There have never been any Russian invasion of Ukraine. Well, read your history. The Russians living in Ukraine today, in what is called Novorossiya, Donbass, they have been living there for centuries. They came before Ukraine was even started. The Russians constituted the population before there was anything called Ukraine. So you can't say they have invaded Ukraine. That would be the same as telling that the Danes, we have invaded Denmark. Well, you're plain stupid, I can hear. Or you're a follower of American right-wing neoconservative ideology. They want war. And I know that Poland is a prostitute nation following USA today. They have a lot of American bases, a lot of American weapons. So Poland is not an independent country anymore. It's a colony. But unfortunately, they haven't realized it themselves. Well, Russophobia is the main disease of the Poles, and Russophobia is an American ideology. It is very old, several hundred years old. And there is absolutely no basis in real Catholic religion for Russophobia. Go and ask the Pope if you are doubt. I know you had a Pope called Johann Paul II. He was the worst Pope we have had since Second World War. He came from Poland and he was a disaster. Please forget him very fast and go and ask the real Pope, the good Pope, Pope Francis we have nowadays. He's certainly not an anti-Russian dude because he and also the former popes they have had personal meetings with Vladimir Putin because Putin he has been traveling on some kind of I don't know pilgrimage to the Vatican several times. So he wants to make a unification of the church in East and West, and that is what we need. We don't need your Russophobia because this is only the start of Third World War, and Third World War will be the end of Poland. I think it's a disaster that Poland is a part of the European Union because your ideology is far away from what we believe in Europe. Well, here we have Janusz Marowski who is saying we shouldn't follow Germany blind. No, you are absolutely right. And I wish you could think a little further. We shouldn't even follow USA blind because nowadays Polish soldiers are killing people around the world working together with USA. So Poland is a prostitute country, a, a colony of USA. You should be ashamed of that. I'm sure, and I know that Denmark is the same, but Poland should be much better than Denmark. When you see the Polish history, you've done a lot of good things in history. So you shouldn't be so proud. You should be so proud of yourself and so knowledgeable about your own history that you know to fight against Russia is not the way forward for Europe. Let's continue here. No, Poles are racist. I'm sorry. Yes, Poles are racist. I've just been in Warsaw a few weeks ago, and on the flight back here to Copenhagen, I was followed by a bunch of young Nazis, 6 persons, dressed like Nazis with Nazi ideology that had been to an international Nazi meeting in Warsaw. Poland today is the center of European racism and Nazism. And a lot of the people you call refugees from Ukraine, they are actually Nazis fighting to kill the Russians in Ukraine. And that is very, very dangerous. Then you write, what is wrong being only white? Well, every man has his own color. And that is nothing wrong about that. I just think any country is more beautiful if you have a mixture of colors, not just white. A painting without any color, just white, it's a very bad painting in my point of view. A painting being only black, that's a bad painting too. A painting should have many colors. Beauty is consisting of many colors, and a country, Europe, should have the same. So therefore, I'm very glad that Poles are not running Europe. But if they did that, we would be back to the times of Adolf Hitler. Then there was somebody called Sense of Liberty. No, Poles, they are smart. They don't listen to the Pope. Yeah, you are absolutely right. They only listen to the old Pope Johannes Paul II, and he was the worst Pope we have had. An anti-communist Pope spreading hate against a big part of the world, but he was absolutely the favorite of the American military industry, and that is why this military industry actually is controlling and terrorizing a lot of countries around the world because they believe that they have the right to control everything. They were inspired by the Pope Johannes Paul II, the anti-communist, anti-Russian head-spreader Pope. Then you say Pope Francis has a globalist agenda. Sure he has. That's why all Catholics love him. Let's continue. Here, this is Michael Fironsky. I don't know where he's coming from. They are kind of racist. That is an interesting opinion. In some countries, people are mostly one skin. That means they are racist. No, not necessary. But they are potential racist. If they only have one color, that is because they have kept people of other colors out of the country. And that is an indication of racism. And in the case of Poland, it is a pro-racist country that is home for modern Nazism in Europe. We come to Count Rufus. Enlightenment started in Poland with Copernicus. Well, we could have a long discussion about that. The Frenchmen would say Enlightenment started in France. The Germans say it started in Germany. Britain say it started in Britain. Well, we Danes can say, no, it started in Denmark. But you believe it started in Poland. That's okay. But I think the Enlightenment was not only a good time. We have to go back to Renaissance to find a real good time here in Europe. But this is a long discussion. You say EU will be nuked for sure, and we Ukrainians are Russians and Russians are Ukrainians. Well, the last sentence you are saying, I'm quite agree with you. Ukrainians and Russians should stick together. EU, you will be nuked. I certainly don't hope that. Are you going to do that, or who will nuke Europe? I don't think Russia has the idea of nuking Europe. The only real threat we have is USA. They already have atom weapons placed here in Europe, and in a case of war, they'll try to keep the war in Eurasia. That means in Europe. And then there will be a big fight between Europe and Russia, and that could lead to Europe being nuked. But it would be because of American imperialism. So we hope that the Enlightenment will reach the political leaders of USA and of NATO. Here we have Polish native speaker, very confusing when someone praises and criticizes you at the same time. Sure, that's why my whole series of videos, they are directed against intelligent people, because intelligent people, they know that there is no country being only bad. Even Poland is not only a bad nation, there are many good things also in Poland. Here we have McCain is ringleader for the idiot warmongers. I absolutely agree with what you are saying, so that is right. The next here, Lonely Hearts, proud, really. I'm telling about the German, they are so proud about what they did in Auschwitz. Well, you don't believe so? I can see your picture on your profile. It portrays a Nazi woman. Maybe it's you. So that is the definitive proof that you are wrong and I'm right. You are proud of being Nazi. That is why you use this picture as a picture of your personal profile. Lonely Hearts. Probably you use a cover name because you want to hide yourself like other right-wing people in Europe try to do. Syed Ali Hassan, I like your video, very impressive about your vision of freedom. Yeah, okay, thank you. And 8 Lion Advancing 8 or something, a very complicated name. You are writing quite right that the Jewish concept of goys, the Jews, they are allowed from their religious leaders to kill goys, to steal from goys, and to do everything with goys, against goys, because goys are considered to be animals. And that is a concept you can find in Talmud and even more in Kabbalah. And I would say that the root of this concept you find in Old Testament. But this is a long discussion. So you're right about Talmud is the main reason of Jewish religion, the main root, the main textual source of Jewish racism. And now we come to DBP 53. He used to be a very reasonable person. He says, I'm a Mormon. Okay, Jesus is of the same race as the Scandinavians. Well, I don't believe so, but it's hard to prove or to disprove. I know the story about the 12th tribe that disappeared and maybe they went to Scandinavia. Well, actually, the most known priest and theological here in Denmark is called Grundtvig. And if you have the time, you should study Grundtvig. I don't know if any of his scriptures is translated to English, but you have to read his core scriptures. And he had the same idea as you. He started in England, and I believe he started together with some Mormons. They inspired him. He also thought that Danes were the follower of the 12th tribe, and therefore the Danes had a directly ancestral line back to Jesus. Well, very interesting, but this is not normal Christian theology, so I won't support you. But you can believe anything. Now let's continue to the last bunch of comments. For I, which say, I understand what you say. It made me wonder what, well, it's about German philosophy. We have to understand that German philosophy is the core of European philosophy and the core of decent thinking also today. And therefore, it's a good idea to study Heidegger. And I'm only a total beginner and an amateur when it comes to Heidegger philosophy. But I think Heidegger has developed some concept and some one way of thinking that can be to huge inspiration. Then we have Europos. I do not understand you. I'm from Russia. You are not comrade. Okay, I'm not a comrade. Well, do you say I'm not a communist? You are absolutely right. I'm a Catholic. But someone says that Catholics are also communists because we support the idea of communion, community, communism. It's the same core words coming from Greek and Latin. It means people working together. But I'm not your comrade. Well, I don't know who you are, so I really can't comment on your writings here. Well, that was about all, and I'll repeat what I said from the beginning. Thank you to all of you who wrote anything, no matter if you agree with me or do not agree. I really appreciate your comments. They are an inspiration for me, and the reason I make these videos is to get in some kind of dialogue with you and with other people. That is also why I reply to your comments. But more videos are coming, and I'm looking forward to your comments and remarks to these videos too. So thank you for listening. Goodbye to you here from Jakob Munck in Copenhagen. Hej.